let's talk about the next release for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There are two names that I think the Pittsburgh Steelers could still utilize over the next week. I'm not going to say it's going to happen immediately, but I'm going to say over the next week that the Pittsburgh Steelers could get rid of to clear some more cap space and kind of set themselves up for bigger returns once free agency starts. Those two names are, one, I think easy to guess, Larry Ogunjobi. You save $5 million. He's worth $13.2 million this season. I'm sorry. Larry O is a good dude. I've always enjoyed Larry O as a player and as a media member or a player to work with the media. I just don't think he's playing up to his contract. I think there are other options. Yesterday, there were a bunch of names that went off the board at defensive tackle. There's one name that remains there that I'm sorry, but if the Steelers could get this guy, he is the perfect replacement for Larry O. He does exactly what the Pittsburgh Steelers have been looking for a defensive tackle to do over the last couple of years. Even with signing Larry Ogunjobi, they were hoping he solved this issue. He did not solve this issue. They now need him to go and do that. And I think they have one option. Larry O is my first name that I expect to be released over the next week if they make a splash move at defensive line, which I anticipate them doing. $5 million. The other one is a bit interesting. It's Cole Holcomb, inside linebacker, still dealing with an injury. You don't know when he's going to return. I thought Cole played really well last season, but he's back-to-back season-ending injuries. That's concerning. At some point, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're looking at it and you're saying, look, we want less risk, the least amount of risk we could possibly take. And I think that there's one giant name out there that I think everybody knows who I'm talking about, and we're going to continue to talk about him. We're going to dive into him here in a second, who, if you could sign this guy, you could get rid of Cole, save $4 million, and I mean, go younger, go bigger, go splashier, and certainly fill up your inside linebacker room. Those are my two guys to watch as potential cuts for the Pittsburgh Steelers over the next couple of days. I expect at least one of them to happen. I think that Larry O is the name that everybody kind of has as the guy you're going to get rid of.
Yeah, I don't know. I was going to say the Cole Holcomb one is kind of questionable to me because, I mean, you uprooted your entire middle linebacker situation last year. And he was, before he got injured, he was really starting to come along, especially in a first year in a new system. So giving him that opportunity to kind of mature in that system. And if he comes back from this injury, I know it's difficult 2 years in a row, but at least having that option, maybe not, I mean, he's expensive to be a backup, but having that option, especially knowing you're going to need depth. I don't know if they're going to be able to trust a guy like Mark Robinson as a fourth going into another season.
So Mark Robb is 100% not on my, this guy is going to be a starter or an impact player for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Don't see that happening. I like Mark Robb. I think he's a good special teamer. That's as good as it gets. I think Landon Roberts is, and I think you could draft somebody, and I think the Steelers have their eyes on at least one inside linebacker during the NFL draft, maybe 2 or 3 of them. I think depending on how the board shakes out, if a Junior Colson's sitting there in the 3rd or the 4th round, you go out and you get him, and then boom, you're solidified. But I think there are smaller options. I think there are 2 options, and I would not be surprised if the Pittsburgh Steelers went out and got both of them and just said, screw it, we're going to make a huge move on inside linebacker. This is going to be much more massive than it was last year or the year before that with the Landon Roberts and Cole Holcomb. And if they do that, I mean, there's no reason to keep any. I mean, Landon Roberts is a Pittsburgh Steeler. He was born to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. It just took him a little while to get here. I think that's the perfect fit. But I think if you could keep a Landon, move on from Cole, and I like Cole. I think Cole was very good, just like you said. But the back-to-back season-ending injuries concerns me. And I think there's concern for the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially if he's not available for the start of training camp. Like if you're going to go into the preseason and you still don't know if your starting inside linebacker is going to be around, I think you're going to look for 2 options because at this point, you already got a quarterback. You already got an offensive coordinator. I expect him to make some splash on defensive line. I expect him to make a move at safety. I expect him to make a move at corner. You're going to go in there again with another hole at inside linebacker. I just don't think they're going to take that risk. I could see Cole Holcomb being one of those guys that gets cut. And then you move on from there.